Hudson County View, live and uncut. I'm your host, the guy that tells you 2 and 2 makes 3, your favorite cult of personality, John Heinis, and we're going to give you, of course, the latest and greatest at Hudson County News. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening over up north. So in West New York, we know that there's a huge election on May 9th. Of course, this one's for all the marbles. We got those 5 Board of Commissioners seats up for grabs. We have 3 tickets. One spearheaded by the former congressman, state assembly speaker, and he actually was the mayor between 1995 and 2006. That's Yousef. He had his first fundraiser on Friday. The day before that, Public Affairs Commissioner Cosmo Cirillo, another declared candidate, had his fundraiser at Las Palmas. And of course, we also have another former mayor in the race, that's Dr. Felix Roque. So this is shaping up to be a quite interesting affair. So we're going to talk about what both those events were like. And we're going to chat a little bit about what's going on in Hoboken. We actually have our nonpartisan races there in the fall, specifically in November. And we have another recently declared candidate. We have Paul Presenzano, an activist that appeared on this program back in October. And he's actually announced that he's going to be running for the first ward council seat against the incumbent, that's Mike DeFusco. So we're going to talk a little bit about that announcement. And of course, we have quite a few news items out of Jersey City, as always. So as pretty much I'm sure all of you know, just shortly after this program concluded last week, I was actually over in Newark for this sentencing for the judicial outcome of the Amy DeGee's hit and run from July 19th, the Jersey City Councilwoman at large. I'm sure you've all heard by now that the punishment was a 1-year driver's license suspension and a $5,000 fine. And we've now also learned that there's a tort claim out there against the city, the county, the state, the council, and of course DeGee's herself for $1 million. So we're going to talk about what that all means. We're also going to talk about the council meeting that happened the subsequent day. And on Wednesday, we heard a lot about rent control forms. We also heard some calls for DeGee's to resign, just a few. But still, it's interesting that that's back in the forefront. And fortunately, today I'm joined by my councilman, the Heights representative, that's Ward D Councilman Yousef Saleh. So all that and hopefully a little bit more right after this word from our sponsors.
Jersey City Ford Certified Parts and Service, located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, today I'm joined with Jersey City Ward D Councilman Yousef Saleh. Councilman, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right, glad to hear it. So, look, there's a whole heck of a lot going on, but first let's talk about, unfortunately start on a somber note. Let's talk about this fatal shooting that was off of Summit Ave, and I think it was also Poplar the other day. So do you have anything that you could tell us about what's going on over there?
The shooting was a targeted incident. It's gang related. Unfortunately, these incidents happen from time to time in a city like Jersey City, and all the actors are known and the police are pursuing all the leads, and we know which gang it is, and additionally the police have put plainclothes officers in the Heights. We have brought in more resources to make the community feel safer as a result of this incident. We want to make sure that we have the resources on the ground, not just to make the community feel safe, but to pursue leads.
All right, so at this point, is it your understanding this is an isolated incident?
It's isolated, and I think, I don't want to presume that this might be the last of it, because it is gang related. There might be retaliatory hits after, like it's involving another gang in another municipality. So we are working, the police are trying to make sure that they make the arrests as quick as possible to squash it sooner rather than later. Because once that happens, then things will die down. So.
All right, I appreciate your candor.
Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit on the policy end. So at that council meeting, we've been talking about rent reforms for probably 2-3 months now in Jersey City. And I know that you talked about that you wanted to get an ordinance together and you've been working on it. I don't know the particulars, so could you tell us on what you had in mind here?
So some of the ins and outs that we've been working on for this rent control, Chapter 260, is that we would have a citywide database, basically like Google Maps, showing which buildings are rent controlled and which buildings are rent control exempt and when their exemption ends. Currently, the situation that's happening at Portside Towers, they said they filed or they actually didn't file, and in order to avail yourself of an exemption from rent control, you have to file within the statute. So the New Jersey state statute says you have to file for a rent control exemption before your building is issued a certificate of occupancy, which didn't happen in Portside Towers. So we want to have a database citywide. That's the one. Two, the current scheme that we have is that if a landlord increases your rent and you want to essentially contest that, you have to pay the new rent, and then at the end of the dispute, maybe you'll get a rebate for the rent that you paid. What this ordinance would do is it would essentially freeze your rent once a dispute has begun, and then you would have to put the money in escrow. And once the dispute is settled, let's say you have to pay that rent, then you take the money from the escrow, send it to the landlord. But if you do win your case, then you can keep that money that's in escrow. So right now, what is happening is people are getting forced out of their house.
Right.
Or forced out of their apartment, and they realize that they can't afford this new rent, so they end up moving out. So we want to protect the tenants.
Do you think this will be ready for introduction at the next meeting?
Definitely not the next meeting, but we are working very fast to try and work out all the kinks before, within the next month.
So we've heard quite a bit from Portside, as you just mentioned, of course. I'm sure there's other areas of the city, other buildings that have had a similar issue. So, if someone does illegally raise the rent as a landlord, what recourse does the city council have, if any?
Well, it would have to go through the administrative processes within the city. What the city council can do is to look at Chapter 260 and see ways that we could strengthen the laws. Like right now, some landlords have clauses that say that they aren't beholden by any rent control laws, and we're going to put it in the ordinance that says you don't know if you're beholden to rent control laws or not. Like you can't put a clause in your lease, so any clause like that in a lease would be invalid, and you'd have to. It would have zero effect essentially. Some people think that they're above the law. They're not above City Hall or this municipality, and they can't treat tenants that way, that they are above the law. And they can go to their council person to sort of guide them through the process or point them in the right direction, but we can't effectuate anything in terms of a decision. We can't influence a decision from the rent leveling administrator. That is done through a separate administrative process that we really can't interfere with. But we can show them the resources. There are certain lawyers, legal aid that would assist you, if you fall within a certain income bracket in terms of protecting your rights as a tenant. I know there's talk about right to counsel in
Sure.
Jersey City, so that's another avenue we're exploring as well.
Councilman, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere either. We're going to be right back after this word from our sponsors.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John R. Heinis, and I'm still here with Jersey City Ward D. Councilman Yousef Saleh. So, Councilman, as you obviously recall, last time you were here with me, we were talking about some changes to the parking authority, and that's, of course, on Central Avenue. And, you know, I know that you had made some recommendations, the administration took some action, but to be honest with you, even as a Heights resident, I'm not totally sure on everything that's happened since then. So could you give us like a brief synopsis of where we're at there?
Okay, so they created a new traffic enforcement division. So I believe that the current parking enforcement officers are going to be cross-trained in becoming crossing guards as well. That's still in the process. And as far as the organizational structure, there are now 3 lieutenants that are working the morning shift, afternoon to night, and then night to morning shift. So there are 3 lieutenants currently working there. And
so are they getting paid by the parking authority and by the police, or just by the police?
I think it's just by the police. It's
okay.
Not like a double dipping situation.
Okay.
I hope to God not. I will definitely circle back and find out, but I do not think it's that kind of a situation.
Okay.
So I did go and check, and it seems that morale is up, and you know, sometimes change is good, and I think that the future is bright. They are looking at automating all of the permits. I know that they're looking into that because, I mean, that's the kind of parking enforcement that we deserve. Like, you shouldn't have to wait online for a sticker to put on your car. Like, you need to...
Yeah, it'd be great to just download and print it out.
Or not even just print it out, that they have your license plate on record, and then it's just like they have an automatic scanner goes down the block.
Oh, even better.
And we should know.
In theory.
Yes, hopefully. That's the dream, and then we'd be able to do things like permits only for people with the driveways, so we know which cars belong to which driveways. So if you're seen on the street and you're taking up multiple spaces on the street while having a driveway, then you'd get a ticket for that. So.
Okay.
We want, you know, right now I see some areas in the Heights where it's a game of musical chairs that people park 3 or 4 cars in the block, and they have a driveway, and it's just like, it's insanity. So we need to have a more technologically advanced solution to the parking situation. I also think that there should be free transit options. I think if there was a low cost / free transit option across Jersey City, then I know there's VIA, but we need to even boost that up even more. I know cities like Boston are looking into that, but maybe it would reduce the need for a vehicle if there was free transit across the city.
Stands to reason. Okay, well look, some interesting prospects and concepts there. But let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about this, I guess I'm going to call it the payroll debacle. Obviously, the first couple payrolls in 2023 have not been kind to the city of Jersey City. And I know that you joined 2 of your colleagues, that's James Saleh and Frank Gilmore, in asking for this process to be fixed. So, I mean, what do you think we're at? I mean, number one, do you think this 3rd payroll is going to be okay? And whether it is or it isn't, do you think we're going to make changes to this current vendor, or do you think we're getting a new vendor?
I think that there will still be errors with this new payroll. They have been reduced after each payroll. Unfortunately, it's been a very imperfect process. And I have learned that it's not so much the payroll vendor that's wrong, but the data that we were inputting was wrong into the system. So they have been trying to clean it up. I always have believed that the way they should have rolled this out was department by department, so that they would have ironed out the kinks in a slower, more methodical fashion, so it didn't have such a cataclysmic effect on the city, and you wouldn't have had all these issues if you rolled it out in tranches and to make sure that you take care of each issue as you go along. But here we are, and I'm hoping the next payroll things start to get a little better, more than the previous one. I think they will get to a point where it is good, but we're not there yet, and I don't think we'll be there and I'm just being honest, for another month. I hope they prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, everybody.
Hey, listen, again, appreciate the candor. Hopefully it's sooner than later, but let's see what happens on Friday, right?
It is premature, though, for us to go and say, hey, no, we're going to get rid of Unicorn. I don't think we're there yet.
All right, understood. So, as you're well aware, the Amy DeGee's case is over. You know the penalty. I mean, I mentioned it at the top of the program, but you were only one of 3 council people that put out a statement when this thing was pending. And basically you said, innocent until proven guilty, let the system play out, let the process play out, I should say. I don't have it in front of me, but you remember what you said. So
Yep.
Any closing thoughts now that it's in the rear view, at least on that aspect of the case?
I think, this is still opportunity for Councilwoman DeGee's to go out into the public and to make the streets safer. And we will work alongside her as her council colleagues. But in a democracy, the only way to really do buyer's remorse is at the next election cycle. It's not like a game of Survivor where everyone says hey, you're out. And then that week, that council person, whatever he or she did, is removed from office. That's not the way democracy works, thankfully, and
Right. The recall is exceedingly difficult, yeah.
What she did was absolutely wrong. And I think that now that she's pled guilty, that either she has to, make amends and to have the most amazing redemption story of all time, or she eventually, will be challenged in the next election cycle by someone from the public, and that's just the way democracy functions.
Councilman, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your input. I'll see you around the neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just 1 pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
This thing rips! Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. All right, now we're getting hairy. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. Super dig it. It's gonna be a good day.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John R. Heinis. So let's head up north for a moment and let's talk about this West New York municipal election. Obviously, this is going to be the talk of the county for the next 3+ months. So long story short, as I mentioned at the top of the program, and as many of you have probably read and watched already, we saw a fundraiser hosted by West New York Forward. That's the ticket led by Public Affairs Commissioner Cosmo Cirillo at Las Palmas on Thursday night. Their campaign tells me they had about 400 attendees between their cocktail hour and between their regular fundraiser, which came, subsequently. And we heard some interesting words from Cirillo, who is usually pretty reserved, but he did take an interesting shot at one of his opponents, Albio Sires. He said, "I find it funny that one of our opponents is saying he's got to come back home. Well, we, our team, this community, all of us in this room, we've been home, and we're not going anywhere, and we'll continue to be here for the residents of this town for the next 4 years and beyond." So why don't you take a look at this clip from his speech, and we'll be right back.
This is the team that will bring back our recreation center to this ground. This is the team that will focus on ensuring parking issues are addressed and bringing angle parking to this town along with this. This is the team that will focus on ensuring clean streets for our community and making sure that our concerns are addressed. And I promise you that when I am elected mayor of West New York, you will have a mayor that is accessible to the people of this town. You will have a mayor that is going to be committed to having walk-in and mobile office hours at Town Hall without making an appointment. And you will have a mayor that will respond to each and every one of you. So don't forget, we need all of you for May 9th. This is not just about us, this is about our community, our town, our families, the people we love. So talk to everybody you can. Knock on doors, make phone calls, text. We have until now, until May 9th, and we will be hitting the ground running each and every day. So send out to the voters. And I am convinced that this will be the team that will be victorious on May 9th. I find it funny that one of our opponents is saying he's got to come back home. Well, we, our team, this community, all of us in this room, we've been home. We have not gone anywhere. And we will continue to be here for the residents of this town for the next 4 years and beyond. So don't forget, now is the time to stand together. Now is the time to put West New York first, and now is the time to move West New York forward.
And we're back. Now, not much else I could add that the commissioner did say. I think that kind of sums up the mood of what's going on for his team and his supporters. I mean, just a quick reminder, he's running with Revenue and Finance Commissioner Margarita Guzman, outgoing Assemblywoman Angelica Jimenez, Hiram Gonzalez, who's a local coach, and also Walter Lopez, who is the husband of a former Commissioner, Michelle Lopez. She served under former Mayor Sal Vega. So with that, let's head over and switch gears just slightly. We're going to just actually head to Bergen County for this one, the Great Cliff in Moonachie. This is the first time I ever was at the Great Cliff, and the reason being was for the fundraiser for Albio Sires. As expected, just a ground swirl of support from the HCDO, that Hudson County Democratic Organization. You saw the chair, Anthony Veneri. You saw Weehawken Mayor Richard Turner, of course, West New York Mayor Gabriel Rodriguez, Hudson County Sheriff Frank Scileri, County Executive Tom DeGees, his daughter Amy DeGees, who's of course with the Jersey City Council, as is Joyce Waterman, and Yousef Saleh, of course, was just with us a few moments ago. And the bottom line is you could really feel the energy in the room when State Senator and Union City Mayor Brian Stack addressed the crowd before introducing Albio Sires. So we're going to show you that clip and then head to another break. We'll be right back.
Remember one thing, my only goal in West New York, and those people that are up here tonight,
It's about the people of West New York to get good services, good constituent services. It's not about the next contract. It's not about taking care of your buddies with big contracts. Albiel's about the people. These commission candidates are about the people, not outside influence. The only influence I want in West New York is that when a West New York resident contacts me about a state problem or a problem, we have partners in West New York, and they have a partner in the state Senate and the General Assembly and on the Board of Commissioners on the county level.
I don't understand why people don't think that a library, a media center for the people of West New York is not good. I think our students, our residents of West New York deserve better to have a media center that you can be proud of. And believe me, when I build something that you can be proud of. And we're going to build a beautiful place in West New York. I want to continue to fix the parks. I want to give our police officer a place when they come to work they're proud of, instead of being in the basement. We're going to make the old library the police station so they can feel like they belong to West New York, not shut down in the basement. So we're going to do that. We're going to also work on building a park on the waterfront, one of the piers. We're one of the few communities that do not have a pier park. And there's a pier there. So I intend to do that also. And of course, I want to build an overpass because I'm very concerned about the people crossing Port Imperial Road who want to get to the waterfront and have access
Growing up
to
can
the
be
water.
tough on kids. So much is going on in the world that can cause depression or anxiety. Unusual behavior for more than 6 months could mean they need help. Don't wait. For real-time mental health support and counseling, call New Jersey's Children's System of Care. CSOC offers free mental health supports, substance use treatment, and services for intellectual or developmental disabilities for all kids up to age 21. Call now, 1-877-652-7624.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
All right, Hudson County View live and uncut. So a few more before we call it a week here. So let's talk about this tort claim. Now, obviously, as we've discussed a little bit this week, you know, that sentencing came in for Amy DeGise, and during that time, her counsel, Brian Neary, one of the best criminal defense lawyers in the state, if not the best, and he did a media scrub, and he mentioned that there was civil reservation in this case, and you know, most of us non-lawyers weren't sure what that meant, and basically he said that in a criminal proceeding, even though this was a traffic case, it's treated the same as a criminal proceeding in some ways, that civil reservation means the testimony used in this case can't be used in civil litigation, which, you know, we're typically used to seeing filed at Hudson County Superior Court. So why is that relevant? Well, it turns out that unbeknownst to most of us, Andrew Black hired an attorney shortly after the July 19th hit and run, and on August 1st, he filed a tort claim, which is a notice of claim you have to file within 90 days in New Jersey if you plan on filing a lawsuit. Now, this $1 million is due to, according to the claim, injuries to claimant that include but are not limited to his entire back, left foot, and ankle. And as I mentioned, it names DeGise, Jersey City, the City Council, Hudson County, and New Jersey. And this was obtained through an Open Public Records Act request. It's only about a page and a half, so it doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. But just to provide further context, when Neary spoke to the press, he said civil reservation is a part of our laws that allows a judge in a criminal or traffic, this is specifically traffic case to allow that what's said in a court for a traffic violation not to be used as evidence in a civil lawsuit. So that's a quick and easy summary, I believe. Obviously, we know the particulars of the hit and run like the back of our hands at this point. We've talked about it quite thoroughly. Now, the attorney representing Black, Chris Carudos, said, "We are aware of the judge's ruling and loss of license and are glad the councilwoman accepted legal and moral responsibility for our actions, and we will protect our client's rights in the civil court. I've known Brian Neary for many years, and his request to the court for civil reservation was correct. Whether or not his client can avoid questions during depositions is another matter." And I reached out to the city for comment and did not receive anything back. Another interesting one out of Jersey City, one more for this week. We heard from Councilman James Solomon. Of course, he's the Ward E representative, and he says he's going to have his office file a number of Open Public Records Act requests to identify illegal payouts, also known as boat payments, from the city, the Municipal Utilities Authority, Board of Education, County of Hudson, and the Hudson County Schools of Technology. He said specifically, governments throughout the state and here in Hudson County are giving away hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars illegally. I do not know the scope of the problem for Jersey City taxpayers, but the fact that no one knows the scope is unacceptable. The reason that he said he decided to look into this was twofold. Number one, he said that this is all part of his fiscal responsibility plan after last year's budget came late and came with a tax increase. He also mentioned that there was a comptroller report from the summer, pretty sure that was July, that looked into 60 municipalities, and 57 of them had some sort of inaccuracy, or I should say an inappropriate way that they did sick leave payouts. And there were 3 from Hudson County, that was Hoboken, Union City, and West New York. So we're going to see where this one goes. And finally, to end on a positive note, I can tell you that 3 Secaucus police officers were able to resuscitate a 76-year-old man last week. Those officers were Lieutenant Christopher Rinaldi, Police Officer Mikal Kalesser, and Police Officer Casey Kelly. This was January 24th at about 4:45 p.m. in the area of Seaview Drive and New County Road. Rinaldi arrived on the scene first to perform CPR, and then Kalesser and Kelly arrived to assist, and after using the automatic external defibrillator, they were able to save this man's life. So that's quite a story on HudsonCountyView.com. Like everything else, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.